Yo, what's happening,
Yo.
everyone?
Yo,
Yo.
Yo.
what's up, y'all?
I wanna-
Welcome to the VR
Yo.
CruCast.
That's exactly what should have happened.
Nice.
I want to start this show by asking you, we were talking about this a minute ago, avatars. Like, you brought it up, Roots, about avatars in games and stuff. And I've got a question for you. When you are an avatar in a game, do you pick anything other than, like, human?
Sometimes I would. Like, I would love, and maybe I'll have somebody make this, but for like VR chat, would be like Baby Groot, angry Baby Groot or something, or yeah,
That's a great idea.
Yeah, I like different things like that. But yeah, I don't have to be exclusively human. Although I'm not in the whole anime. Like I because of my age, I feel like there was like a certain age group that anime really resonated with. My like son's 24, and that was his deal, right? So
Has he seen Akira?
I don't even know what that is. What's Akira?
Okay.
Akira's like
Tells you,
one of the
I
classic.
know Brad just died a little bit inside, but I'm just so out of the loop in that. Not that I don't, love and respect the people that love it themselves. I just it's just not me.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, I remember, like, when you in Skyrim in particular, you get in there and it's like, do you want to look like a green lizard? Do you want to look like a dragon? Do you? And I think I always just want to be a human male.
Yeah,
That's
this is
pretty much
something
me
I do.
too.
It's
Yeah.
something like that.
I was just wondering,
absolutely
you know?
agree.
But I will say-
I-
Let me say this. That
Yeah,
was
go
not the case when I was younger. When I was younger, I was all about like the humanoid, like the like monster on the squad, like in Soul Calibur, I'd be like going towards like the Necrid, like the like
Nice.
beast dude, like,
Lizard
whenever
man.
there was like
Lizard man.
yeah,
with Soul
like
Calibur.
totally. Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. Like that when I was younger, I was all about like my very first World of Warcraft characters were all Horde. I like immediately am making orcs and stuff, but as I got older, that changed. And then I like really started to like identify more with just like regular human looking avatars. And that is usually the way I go.
Got it. Go on, Mash. Sorry, man, you got interrupted.
No, that's okay. I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, what would I ever want to be except for me? And I'm thinking like a talking Rice Krispie treat or something like that. I think that'd be great.
Dude, hell,
Like,
you're
who
right
could
in my
ever be
head,
mad?
dude.
Who could ever be mad at a Rice Krispie treat? I mean, they're probably one of the best snacks ever. A talking one would be super cool. I think that's going to be my next avatar.
And everybody wants to eat you, so you're good. I don't know what that means, but
You know who else everybody wants to eat?
yeah.
I
You play an RPG like with all the standard RPG races. What would you choose? Like dwarf, elf, human?
Ooh,
human.
wizard.
Human.
I kind of lean
Oh.
towards dwarf myself.
You are
lately.
totally a dwarf.
I know, because of I kind of like Gimli and the beard and everything. No, just because World of Warcraft, they're badass. They're probably the best race, at least in Classic. And then also, I just think they're cool.
So are you hands-on? Are you a mage or are you like barbarian? Like
I'm a healer.
I
I'm all
believe
about
that.
healing.
I believe that.
Yeah, and that's all I found healing, and so now I'm like a healer priest with a dwarf, and then I guess what was there was another class that I did that there's different classes for that aren't as good. So dwarf is good priest. So
Well, the cool thing about like VR chat, for example, and immersive avatars and all this crap is that like there's a lot more room for that kind of expression, right? It's like you don't have to pick from the 8 races that they give you. You can go ham and you can have your thing look however you want. And I guess like with Brad, for example, Brad has Brad Chan, which is like a human, but like also has like cat parts and stuff, and like is like, would you say, Brad, that like Brad Chan is like your like most authentic expression in terms of avatars, or like do you think you would go another route if you like had just like a budget handed to you for a new one?
Honestly, I feel very happy with my current avatar for sure. Like I already feel it's hit for me right now, like what I want an avatar to be. I don't want to be too outwardly or animal like. It's too far for me.
So for listeners, Brad has turned up again in his Apple Vision Pro. As far as I know, he's still absolutely loving the thing and he's still living in it. Why have you only got half a mullet though, or something? What's going on at the back?
Yeah, that's Yeah, it's a bad scan. Oh, you know what? You know what? Yeah. Okay, so I updated my device today, and it forced me to redo my Persona scan, and I was not ready for it because
Oh.
my hair really needs to be washed. And when your hair is a little bit oily, this is what happens, everyone.
Get a little bit
Oily.
matted down. Oh, I didn't
Yup,
even.
it just,
I
it
didn't.
just,
Was there?
yep.
Was the update this morning? I didn't do the update, dude.
It was a beta developer update
Oh.
thing. Yeah, but yeah, always wash your hair before you do a Persona scan, or otherwise you look like a slick weirdo like me.
Man, you're a scrub in avatar form too. We just can't escape it.
Oh dear. Welcome everyone in the chat. So many great names, so many familiar names. Thank you ever so much for joining us. Mickey Bear in the chat already dropping codes. Thank you ever so much, sir. Resil VR gifting 20 CruCast memberships like an absolute beast. Thank you very much. I hope everyone's been having a great weekend. And you're looking forward to this week. And yeah, I went to see June 2 the other day. Is anyone a fan of June? Have you guys seen June?
Haven't seen I don't think I've seen any of them, to be honest.
Me
I heard it
neither,
was
but I
really
can do.
good.
I can do it. Like the Apple Vision Pro has it in the 3D.
Yeah, Mike
form, but
watched
I'm
it
gonna-
in 3D. He
I'm
said
gonna
it
go
was
do that
amazing.
because I haven't watched any of them. I've never been a Dune fan, but I heard it's amazing, and I'm gonna go do that, and then I'll probably check out Dune soon after that.
And the last thing that's really cool is a program called Shogun. That is fantastic. That is fantastic. And I think I don't know what it'd be on in America. Yeah, Shogun. Yeah, it's so good, dude. I watched the first 2 episodes twice. And it comes
Wow.
out like every week, and it's brutal, man. It's really good. It's a true story as well about the
Nice.
first, I guess, Western samurai kind of thing. You know, do you remember the last Samurai with Tom Cruise or whatever?
Yeah, it was actually
Yes.
a pretty good flick.
I guess it's
actually,
kind of. I guess it's kind of maybe around that kind of thing. But yeah, this is good. This is good. So yeah, what have you guys been up to? You been up to much? I guess you can't all answer at once. So.
Yeah, well, why don't you introduce us and we'll tell you guys.
Everyone
we'll
knows
tell
who you
more about
are. So first up, we've got Alex from Between Realities. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, wow, thank you for that amazing introduction,
That's
Mr.
okay.
Gamertag VR, the host of the VR CruCast, our fearless leader here.
Grr.
I'm doing great. You know, Between Realities last Friday was super fun. We had Brian Paul from Without Parole on,
Yeah.
and it is our most popular episode to date.
Yeah.
After 4 years of the show, more views, more likes, more comments. Like people just showed up, dude, and it was awesome.
I think
again,
this series, season view in general, though, has been high views, isn't it?
It has
Like,
been.
You're hitting like I would say an average of 800. I would say.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this one, I mean, this episode is, you know, is over 2K at this point, and that's not typical for our channel. So
Yeah.
it's been exciting, you know, like getting a little bit of traction, got, you know, a lot of game cats that showed up, and, you know, again, shout out to Wes for, you know, kind of being the catalyst there and giving Brian the push that we needed to get him to come on over.
Catalyst.
The catalyst.
Rawr.
Yeah, that's right. So it was awesome. We had a great time, and yeah, got into some Contractors Showdown, which man, I'll tell you
Good?
what.
Is it any good?
So yes, it is. I'm enjoying the experience, but I haven't been like hardcore playing VR for the past few months or year, to be honest. And like, I was feeling a little
Rusty.
not comfortable, not even rusty, like VR sick after my session. I know. It took me like I was out kind of like catching my breath for like a couple of hours after my session. I was like,
So
God.
have you haven't been playing much, but I mean, you have to rule out the game, right? Like you have to play something else.
no. I'm
Because
good.
it's a game that's in beta, so there's a good possibility that something's off on the frame rates. You know what I mean? Like just because you haven't played for a while doesn't mean you're going to go in and start getting sick.
I appreciate that. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt here. I mean, because like it is a very active game. Like you're like dropping out of the sky. Like my head's on a swivel.
you're
I'm looking up
Alex.
around constantly. Well, that's true. But you know, I guess what I'm saying is like VR legs is a thing. You know, it's a muscle that you need to work. At least that's what it feels like to me currently.
And
but
you get it every once in a while too, right? Like I know we've talked about it in the past. Like every once in a while you'll feel it in certain games.
yeah, and I was feeling it for sure. I was ready to take a break by the
I
time
wonder
the
if
end of the
it's
session came.
because as you get older, maybe Maybe it's got one.
I'm willing to bet that the next time I go in, I'm going to be in a much better spot. It's just been a while since I've been like dropping out of the sky and flying all over the place and grabbing onto zip lines and having them shoot me all over and all of that. But it was a great time. Kenzie Gaming VR took me in there and kind of showed me the ropes. And I was just like asking questions the whole time. And he's giving me a bunch of information, which is great. But also, and this is a conversation I've had on Between Realities that I'd like to maybe post to you guys. And we don't have to spend all day on it, but I would like a couple of opinions. Right now, there is proximity chat enabled in that game. So when like I'm asking questions to my teammates, our opponents can hear that and they can like react to that.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of players join Discord channels so they can't be heard by their opponents and they can still communicate and strategize. And I feel like there's like a pretty like polarizing debate to be had about that, because I personally am in the camp that like if the game is designed to have proximity chat, then it's kind of like non-ethical to join a Discord call.
Yeah,
because you're
I
giving
agree.
yourself an unfair advantage,
I agree.
you know, but
It happens
not everybody
so
feels
much
that
so.
way.
It
How
happens
you
so
gonna
much.
stop it?
Like look at Ghost of Tabor. I mean, their Discord is the size of it is because they have so many people teaming up and getting into audio channels to do that. And like when you get into communication games that are a lot about communication, like normally what you would do in a military game, if you or for real military is what I should say. When you're in a squad, everything's hand motions and hand movements, right? You're not getting that here. You have to have a way to communicate without somebody hearing you. So to me, I don't have an issue with it at all. I think because those things absolutely happen. You know, when you're looking at a realistic military shooter, those things absolutely happen in real life. They just use hand signals, and you can't afford that in VR. So you have to have some other way to communicate. I think the strategy of communication with a team, when you have a team of 4 and you can but one shot kill them, communication is so important. Roots. How many times have we played Tarkov where you'll get a team wipe on by somebody because just the communication itself was poor? Like you have
Right.
to have that communication. When you have strategy games like this that rely on communication, I think you have to have it.
But then let me ask you this. Why is it not a game mechanic? Why are you not in a private chat with your team, unable to be heard by your
Yeah,
opponents?
yeah. I agree.
You want me to answer it?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, because I don't care what they want. I don't care what the developer wants. I'll play the game the way I think it needs to be enjoyed, and that's most of the time in a game like this. They're done in groups in Discord.
Yeah, and
look at Tarkov again. You want to take another example? Tarkov again, no in-game chat at all. They just put proximity in not too long ago, but for the first 4 or 5 years of that game, they didn't even have proximity chat. So you're just getting it now, and that Discord again is built on audio channels of people getting in and grouping up.
But you can see how that forces me to have to do what you do, because like right now, like I actually like to join on my Quest most of the time. My PC's at what is it? It's a 1070, you know, like it works, but it's not that great. My Quest is so convenient, and I don't want to have to like think about that. Like it's so much easier for me to just put my Quest on and go. But if everybody who's playing is joining Discord channels, then I feel like I have to do something else. I can't just join.
One of the best
It doesn't prevent you though.
Go ahead, GT. I do want to hear
I'd say
this.
one of the best bits about Contractors Showdown is actually the moment when you kill each other, or someone kills you, or you don't. Like some of the best parts of Contractors Showdown is when, for example, I kill someone and you say "good game" or "well done." You know what I mean? Like they have a thing. Like they'll either go, they'll either get nasty because you killed them, or they'll be polite about it. Like, "Yeah, good game, dude. Well done." Or there's the bit where you're down, you're not quite dead, and the whole team's coming around to get you. And you're screaming to your team, and they can hear you screaming. Do you know what I mean? Like, I love all that. I think that actually makes the game. So, yeah, I get it for people who are like, I guess, super serious. But really, the game, I think, if as you said, I think if the game has proximity chat, everyone should be on proximity chat.
Let's take Call of Duty, which is let's take Call of Duty, which is probably the most popular game out there. If you're playing it like a lot of these people do every day, and you're grinding it, you're in a Discord chat. The way it is should be no different for VR.
But does that game, don't they offer like in-game private chats with your team? You know, or does it default to proximity?
That there is proximity chat there in Call of Duty. I don't know if there is a way to do squad based. But I
Yeah.
can tell you that if you watch anybody who's streaming Call of Duty, they're in a Discord channel with whatever team they're with.
And I want to
I'll
make
tell
this
you,
clear,
isn't
Mash.
Doctor Disrespect isn't, because he actually feeds off the fucking
Yeah.
chat. He feeds off trolling
So-
people. So
I want to make this clear, Mash. I actually completely agree with you in terms of my preference. I strongly prefer to communicate privately with my team, but when it's not included as a game mechanic, I will typically avoid doing that because I see I don't know. I don't know. I've already explained why.
Yeah, I just don't know how you
So-
do that. How you do it without it though? Like, how do you
You
like? So
die.
if you're, that's what I mean though. But then you're not playing the game the way it should be. Like if you were,
No, I think you're
outwardly
not playing the game the way it should be.
No. But listen, this is a squad-based mechanic. If you're preparing and you're setting your team up to help you negotiate landscape and to take out other teams, you have to talk about that. And if you're giving your position away every time you do it, then you're not playing the game the way it should be.
we just need
Well,
to
you're
explain.
not giving. It's
so-
not every time you do it though. It's only when they're close. Like it's not like people can hear.
Yeah,
you from across
exactly.
the app.
That's what I was going to
It's
say.
what-
Someone in the chat said that like this game does have party chat. You can talk to your own party anywhere on the map, but for the enemy, it's proximity chat.
Right. Yeah, you can talk to you can turn it,
Yeah.
especially even for like Ghost of Tabor too. Same thing. You have a watch and you can actually hit a button on your watch that allow you to turn the open mic off or have it on.
Yeah,
So you have options to do that. Again, to me, it's just if it's a single player game, I'm all for it. If anything where you need to coordinate, that's the game that game, like even Firewall Ultra, like that game is all about coordination and about telling people what to do and like talking to your teammates.
But Firewall puts you in a fucking group and doesn't let your opponents hear you, right?
Right.
This doesn't do that.
Yeah, but I'm not saying they couldn't do it. What if they just decided not to, or what if they were lazy, or what if it was just, well, I mean, again,
My argument is that that's not the case. My
Yeah, but-
argument is that the intention is to be heard by your opponents.
Yeah,
That is the
absolutely.
way the game
It's-
is intended to be played.
But I don't think that's again, I've just given you 4 examples of games that are all multiplayer strategic games that don't do that people will always go in and get into Discords where it's meant to be that way.
I hope you've
I mean,
got.
I always. I'm sorry. Go ahead, GT.
No. Where's you go, man?
I was going to say I always go in and get into a Discord chat, but it's only because I don't want to be put at a disadvantage, and I know that there will be other people doing that. So I generally agree with Alex. I do it every time. I'm not, I'm not going to sit out and put myself at a disadvantage and die on principle. But I do consider it to be cheating if it's not part of the game. If you're using outside audio software to communicate outside of what the game gives you, then it is cheating, but it's a necessary thing. Like everyone's doing it and there's no way to enforce, people.
Right. Because at the
not
end of the day,
using-
Mash should be able to play the way he wants, right? Like
Right.
you shouldn't be necessarily discouraged
Well,
from
this is-
being in
this-
a call with your
I
friends.
mean, at the end of the day, you can do whatever you want. I mean,
Right,
there's nothing to stop it. So
I would say I think calling it cheating would be a little extreme. If it was cheating, they wouldn't let it in the game. But
Yeah, 'cause they stop
it is
everything
giving
else.
you an advantage. And I'm like with MASH, I just want to play the game and communicate. I don't really care about what their intentions were. I need to communicate with my team, and I do it because I want to talk to my teammates, not because everyone else is doing it. You know what I mean?
Again,
But I can see
though,
that
you can-
argument though.
Again, though, you can talk to your teammates with the game chat. It's just people can hear you as if you were in. The
yeah,
map
if they're
in real
close
life.
enough, they'll hear you. Yeah.
Right. If they're
Yeah.
close, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my issue with it is that if I am not trying to participate in it, I will just simply be disadvantaged. That's all there is to it. Like
Mm.
I almost feel strong armed into having to join a Discord call with people to give myself a fair advantage.
Don't give up, Alex. Don't give up.
Yeah, just
but
stick
I
with
want
the-
to talk to my friends too. You know,
just
like-
do
Well,
just do whatever the team wants to do.
I think the
Fair enough.
biggest problem for me with proximity chat is like that works both ways, like with teammates and enemies. Like now I can't go off. People can't spread out. Like you can't hear each other, right? I'm assuming the proximity chat's the same for your teammates too, right?
I mean, listen, you can, for example, in contracts, if you wanted to, is use hand signals if you wanted to. If you
Right.
heard or saw someone, then you could be like, stop talking, you know what I mean? Get in there, whatever. Like, and you can mark people, you can ping their location. You
Right.
could,
But
if
are we
you put-
talking a simulator or is this a game?
No, you could
'Cause
do it in
to
any
me,
VR
it's a,
game, really, because you've got your whole
it's a
body
Call
to
of Duty
use.
game that it's a shooter. It's people are acting like it's a military sim. You know what I mean? Like I don't get it. Like I don't know.
Well,
So-
either way, I knew this was going to be a topic that was going to we're going to have some polarizing opinions on. So but Mash, if you have more to say, please do. Like I'm not, didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, that's good. I think there's differing opinions. Like this topic that we're talking about now. If you guys have ever been in any of these discords of like Call of Duty or Ghost of Tabor, it's talked about all the time because you have so many people that do play on Quest. There's a lot of people that are disadvantaged, and this is a hot topic. Whether what my opinion is of it or not, or yours, I mean, it's definitely a debatable topic. I see both sides of it. I would just prefer to play the game the way I want to play it. And people are like, well, just wall hack then, because then you can that's the game you want to play it. To me, that's completely
but that's not the
cheating.
game you want to play.
Yeah,
You just want to
yeah.
talk to your teammates.
Right. I mean, just because again, I can see both ways. I understand why people get upset with it, especially if you can't have Discord or you can't have a call. But I mean, you could do an Oculus call. What prevents anybody from getting if you
Crossplay.
can't have Discord?
And it's shit.
Crossplay.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
crossplay because I'll join on
Yeah.
my Quest, but my friends will be on their PC, so they can't just jump into an Oculus call with me.
Go get an Oculus, or go get a MetaQuest 2. There you go. Fuck around.
All right, so we could move. I think we should move on from this.
Okay, well, let's carry on introducing people. Next up, we've got Eric Masher from Q2C VR Gamer. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, man. Loving life right now. It's pretty awesome down here in Florida. It's a happy 80 degrees today, 82 degrees and sunny. Ready to rock and roll. for the week.
Beautiful.
Heading to Austin, Texas, the great state of Texas, at the end of the week for South by Southwest, big conference. They have a whole big XR pavilion, building that's conference center that's just going to be XR. So we get to see some pretty cool XR experiences there at South by Southwest.
Mate, that sounds awesome. Are you going to be making a video on it? Any footage or anything? Or are you just...
Yeah, I'll definitely cover something for the channel. And then we also have
Yeah.
GDC coming up that I think we'll definitely, I already have some interviews set up for the channel for GDC. But yeah, South by Southwest is cool. I mean, they don't have as big of a presence for the, like VR or AR as some of the other places, but it definitely has a presence, which is great because South by Southwest is a huge conference that covers everything like live music and entertainment and gaming. So it's broad in what it covers. So just that we as an industry do have a footprint there is awesome.
Beautiful. I just thought of a topic I want to talk about in a little bit. Next up, we have got I Am Roots and Wesley from Virtual Strangers. How you doing, fellas?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, good, man. Glad to be home. Honestly, I've been gone a couple of weeks taking care of personal business, so I didn't do anything this weekend super cool other than be here, which is exactly where I wanted to be. So
Beautiful.
Is
man.
Wes really short for Wesley?
it is.
I didn't know that.
What did you think?
I
it meant?
just didn't think about it. It was just like that Wes. That's it. Like
Could be Weston. Could be some other
Yeah.
stuff, right?
I just I'd never like Wesley. Like I don't know, I like that. It's a nice name, brother.
Is Alex
My
short for
grandmother likes it too.
Alexander?
It is.
Oh.
So what's GT? Oh, never mind.
Yeah. And last but definitely not least, we have sadly it's Bradley. How you doing, dude?
Good. I've been busy preparing for a move later this month, and doing more Vision Pro experiments and stuff. So it's been good.
How long have you been in there now? 4 weeks?
Yeah.
Wow, that has actually gone
it's a
quite
daily-
quick.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah,
right?
it's outside of the return window now.
Oh,
Way
dude, it's been outside for 2 weeks. Yep.
Oh.
I saw you've been doing a lot of stuff on overlays, Steam overlays on Twitter, right?
Yeah, so like it's kind of interesting because like dude, I've been ranting about Steam VR overlays for like so long, and like when you have a headset that's basically like designed around the idea of Steam VR overlays, but like in the Apple platform, it made me want to go back to Steam VR overlays and reimagine some of the things that like really could be used. And it's kind of cool because they got the AL VR developers got a lot of the Vision Pro systems working in AL VR. So it's also cool, like you can see your hands and arms, and like they'll track your elbows, wrists, and stuff. And like you can also like kind of emulate a lot of like button presses with gestures from your hands and stuff. So it's like I'm trying to reimagine how SteamVR overlays could be improved with all these systems in Vision Pro hardware for like the future and stuff. And it's been really interesting. But what's not interesting is how freaking awful Windows is for this use case. But yeah.
I loved that video that you shared. You were like, "Here's your controller, boys."
Yeah.
It's just
Cool.
like a Steam controller that's being controlled by your hand gestures.
Yep.
That is
Beautiful.
awesome.
Take it.
That is awesome. Have you got any monitors yet, Brad?
No, I really will not get a monitor. I'm not like, no, it's over for me. Monitors are
Love it.
dead
Love it.
Monitors are dead.
for me. For me.
What about like your TV, Brad? Like, so like, I mean,
Oh, I never used a TV even before this, like at all. I've always either watched content on my phone or my computer, and now it's just my phone or my headset, but mostly my headset, really. So
I've been
yeah,
the
TV
same
was already
way.
dead for me.
Yeah, I've been the same way, but like the only thing that people have said, like, well, what if you want to go watch something with your wife? That's to me, that's
Yeah.
one of the only issues so far with the Apple Vision Pro is there's no connectivity if you want to go in there with another person that has the Apple Vision Pro, or if you're going to do something like that. Because to
Yeah.
me, like the biggest use case for it is I was like, look, if you're a person that's about to go spend $5,000 on a new TV, why would you ever do that? Like, I would just go buy this instead.
Mhm.
But I guess the social aspect is
Yeah.
What is a
Yeah, like
sorry?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I guess that's true. Like someone's pointing out, we do have like me and my wife, we never used a TV, and whenever we did watch stuff together, we used her laptop to watch stuff like in bed together, and that was like fine for us. Most of the time we don't actually watch that many things together because we have very different tastes, which is I know like kind of weird. Like, hey, shouldn't you watch stuff with your wife? But we're fine with each other's company, watching our own content that we prefer, and I think a lot of people might be like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, you're not alone in that. There's plenty of people who do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Samsung mentioned something about Citra. Citra is dead. Is that?
yeah, this doesn't look good.
What?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
because
Nintendo
Nintendo's-
finally hit him up.
Nintendo is hitting
Yeah.
them.
Right. They just finished
That
that
and some-
lawsuit, right?
Yeah.
Settled that lawsuit with that other
No.
emulator, right? So now they
Yeah,
got their hands
that
free.
and something else too. It was Citra and something else that they're going after. There
How
was
did
some other
I've
type
not heard of
Switch
Citra.
emulator.
I've not heard of Citra.
Citra
when-
is the one from
No.
VR
I
from,
mean, when did the news come?
it was late last week, I think. Early this
Same
over the
time as
weekend.
the Yuzu. Yeah.
Yuzu, that was the one, Brad. That other one that was.
So, but I guess as long as you can still obtain it now, technically you can like get it and have it,
They
right?
just won't be able to update it anymore.
Yeah. Right. So maybe grab it now
no.
if you don't
Yeah.
have it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Citra got caught in the crossfire basically.
But dude, Nintendo is known for coming after people who do this kind of
They're
stuff. Like it's
ruthless, dude.
they are ruthless. It's
Oh,
only a matter of time
no.
every time.
Well, and I
Yeah.
think especially because of VR, just because I really think, and I was told this at Gamescom this past year by somebody who worked for Nintendo that they were, whether it ever sees the light of day, but they have a department for VR that they're working on VR. So whether
It's coming.
that, you don't know if it ever is good. Companies have VR departments and they may be actively working on VR and then never ship anything. So that could be a possibility. But I know for a fact that they have a department that's working on VR. So it's possible that they were like, we want nothing that has to do with what we're doing out there in VR because we're going to, because of what's
Yeah.
coming or whatever. So,
Yeah, I was still really upset when that poor guy with the Metro game,
Paradox of Hope.
Paradox of Hope. Yeah, I mean, I know it was like Metro, but it wasn't called Metro. It was still one guy surviving, but it was just it was so close. It was so close. But still, like one guy's work. Why did they have to go after that? His sale numbers would never have affected a licensed title like that. So yeah.
I think I don't know. I don't know, but I speculate a lot with Nintendo stuff. I've just been a fan for so long, and my speculation is that Nintendo are like one of the companies in the world that care most about preserving their legacy. Like they have a legacy and they know it, and they don't want their content to be consumed in a way that they did not intend ever.
Yeah.
They
Right.
only want you to consume it in a way that they can control and know that you're going to get the Nintendo quality seal of approval stamp
And
on it.
profit. And profit.
And
for them.
profit. And
Yeah.
profit.
And profit.
Yeah, let's
is
not forget
that's let's not forget about that. But I really do think that is a big part of it. I think that's why we haven't seen a lot of like more modern gaming things introduced into the Nintendo world, like the type of like party systems and voice chats and all that kind of stuff. They kind of make you jump through hoops to make that stuff happen. And I like to think it's because they are preserving the integrity of all of their content. So I don't know. That it's just like a silver lining perspective I like to come to when I think about how hard Nintendo is with all of this stuff.
Yeah, I mean that is just. I mean, Citra wasn't perfect. It was getting better. Yeah, I am gutted. But some Brand VR just said, "What do you write?" Basically, content creators don't help when they make videos about it and show it to thousands of people who had no idea it existed. Well, the person who actually made it was the person who contacted me and said, "Can you show it?"
Right. And you can't blame the content creators because there's the people out there watching saying, "Hey, we want a video on that. Please make it." Oh, fuck you for making that video, dude. Look, you just killed Citra.
Dude, I went to town on it as well, and it was only because all the comments were like, "GC, you've got to take this down." I literally showed everyone like where to get it, how to get the ROMs, like everything. It was like a 10-minute video, and it's now only 5 minutes because I had to edit the shit out of it because it was someone was like, "Dude, you will get a strike probably for what you're doing here."
It's like Power World too. Like I literally don't know how they haven't. I know they've threatened a couple of times, but how they haven't given a cease and desist to the developers of Power World blows me away. Like,
there's too much different about it. Like the similarities in the characters is where it ends, and the gameplay is so different in every other way. And their way that they've said with the AI, and they've just fed it into the AI, and it's kind of like with artwork and how it's, you take inspiration from someone else's artwork. Like this whole argument is we're going to be seeing this play out for years. Like there's really it's very gray right now. But the fact that Nintendo never did anything, they said they were going to look into it, and then it just got dropped. It tells me they don't have a case.
Yeah,
and
there's a
Nintendo will
couple
come after you
things.
in a fucking heartbeat, but
Yeah.
it's when they know they can get you. They're not going to. They don't want the anything saying that we're going to come after you and we're going to fail. No, Nintendo, if they come after you, they're going to succeed. And so I don't think that they could do it.
Yeah, there's a couple things there. Pokemon was not the first like a collection of monsters game to exist. Like there were other games that Pokemon absolutely borrowed from to create. And there was a really good meme that somebody made showing some Dragon Quest characters right next to Pokemon, and it's like, oh geez, like look at those. The similarities are literally as almost as uncanny as in Pal World. And the other thing too that I do think comes into effect here is that Pokemon is, as far as I know, I'm pretty sure that's Game Freak IP and not Nintendo IP. So it's not just Nintendo's intellectual property. Like they have a partnership with Game Freak, who are the original developers of that game, and they still are the owners. Like the Pokemon Company is the owners of Pokemon, not Nintendo. So there's probably they probably can't do everything that they want with Pokemon.
Yeah, I just want to take a quick minute as well. Did you see that little collection that Dr. Beef posted showing all the games he's made into VR games? That was insane, dude. Like when you look at that list, it's all the Dooms, Half-Life. There was a Half-Life, I think it is Black Mesa, Quake 2, Quake 3. I think he's done Quake 4 now. It's just insane, man. Shadow Warrior. I still love Shadow Warrior. Prey, Duke Nukem. Like for me,
Jedi Outcast.
Oh my god, we've lost someone. Who have we
Chex
lost?
Quest.
No, Alex, you just.
Oh, we lost Brad.
You've just been chopped in half, mate. Hold on 1 second.
No, not Alex.
It was like he was having a stroke. Hold on 1 second.
He's safe on the other side.
There you go. And what I would do is get rid of Brad's window for a minute till Brad comes back. I don't know what happened. Maybe the headset didn't like it. Maybe he moved his hair and the headset kicked off. Like, who the fuck is this wearing this headset? But yeah, I'm gutted about the Nintendo thing, dude. Really gutted. And but I was going to ask you. I was in a conversation today with someone about VR and VR headsets. And do you think mixed reality is going to be the the fastest way. This is my argument. One of the fastest ways for people to get into VR. Because before you put a VR headset on, you're in a VR game. That's really cool. But I think mixed reality makes it nicer and safer, and probably has more of a wow impact than VR does initially. What do you reckon?
Yeah, well, it allows people to interact with this digital, spatial content without having to have their guard up, right? Without basically putting a blindfold on them. It's a great stepping stone uh, for new users to get to the point where they can comfortably play VR. Uh, but it's eventually probably going to get to the point where there's way more AR, MR devices than there are VR devices. And VR is just going to eventually be a feature of what is otherwise an MR AR device.
Wow. Yeah.
So yeah, I think so. I think mixed reality is going to be crucial to the widespread mainstream adoption of virtual reality, but it's all just going to happen together. AR, MR, VR, it's all going to kind of come into prominence at the same time, because of the basically the I can't think of the word that I'm thinking of, but it's they're going to work off of one another and basically come into prominence at the same
I think
time.
that's Meta's ultimate strategy at the moment. Anyway.
Mm-hmm. I think Wes is absolutely right, and that's kind of what Apple has tried to do. And I think what you just said, GT, is right. That's what Meta will probably try and do with this new headset, is that transition between virtual reality and augmented reality or mixed reality, of being able to do both. Like currently, right now, you can play games in both in the Quest, but literally, if you want to be in your own environment, you have to double tap the headset to get out of VR. There's no halfway, right? Like you can't be like, you can, like, again, you can have a portal or something like that, but you can't be like in halfway and halfway. And with the Pro, you can, or with the Apple Vision
Oh, I
Pro,
see what you're
can,
saying. Yeah, because
you
got
have
the
the
you got the
dial.
yeah.
That's what I was
Yeah,
gonna say. I
where-
love the dial.
where
Yeah.
you can control the environment around you. So like literally think about being in VR, and what happens if you're doing something in VR and you want to take a sip of your coffee, or if you want to do something else, you have to like stop what you're doing, get out of it completely. Where I can just dial back that dial, and instead of that 360 VR being around me, I can pull it back a little bit just so I can see myself, my hands, so I can take a drink, look at my phone, do something different, but I'm still probably 80% in VR.
Well,
So I think that transition is where we'll see Quest go eventually.
I still think the upper hand that Apple has is occlusion. Having your
Mm.
hands and your arms in mixed reality is a really amazing feeling to me. I think
That blew me away. That
Yeah.
blew me away. That was easily the most memorable
Yeah.
part of my demo. When I looked down and saw my hands in a full immersive environment, it blew my mind.
Right, Brad's back. No, he's not. Is he back?
Almost.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's
Hey,
back.
Brad.
Right.
Hello.
Hold on,
Sorry,
Alex.
I'm sorry. My internet's really bad today. I'm sorry. I don't know why.
What have you
Sorry.
done? Have you hotspotted instead this time?
No, I just waited for it to come back up. I don't have a good hotspot where I live either.
Oh.
So
No worries, man.
sorry.
We have to
You
just
can
Brad,
come and
I'll
go
turn
as
my
you
hotspot on
please.
for you. I'll turn my hotspot on.
But yeah, no, that's I was just thinking about it when I was talking about it today, and I do feel that mixed reality is going to be so much more prominent. And I know that a lot of, I think people with PSVR 2s obviously are not interested in Quest, probably aren't that interested in it or want to even look at it really to want to care. But I think if there is a PSVR 3, it will be a mixed reality headset in some feature in some way. And I think every headset might even be like Quest soon, where you can optionally go into VR automatically in mixed reality and then step into virtual reality.
I think that's the way it's going to be on everything.
That's the
I
way
think
to
you guys
go.
are right.
Yeah.
Because even myself, like I turned off my home a long time ago. Like on my Pro, I go into it, and yeah, it's not as good as the Quest 3's pass through, but like I'm not interested in going into an environment to choose my game. It makes it so much easier to be able to put it on and still see shit as I'm doing my stuff, getting things set up. And for new people, for sure, I think
Dude,
that
it
it
really
absolutely
does.
feels a
It
lot more
Really
comfortable.
does. Like I now, when every now and then, like my Quest will get weird and like the home environment will just like take over. And now I'm like in my home environment if I've been like launching apps or something. And I like can't relax until I go back to having a mixed reality main menu. Like I'm so much more comfortable being able to see my room while I'm picking my selection. Like I really do think that makes a big difference. But I am curious, GT, when you asked the question, are you talking about from a gaming perspective or a VR adoption perspective?
VR adoption completely, because I think the gateway then opens up all different avenues. You know, social, if you want to be social, because I would say Brad is a social gamer over a gamer kind of, or a social person and then a very small gamer, and yeah, and then this is the thing. I think mixed reality actually offers you the immersion in some ways, or the escapism still. VR for me is full escapism. Like I've got no idea what's going on in the outside world, you know. As mixed reality, it's kind of like changing, well, as what it's called, it's changing the reality around you. But I kind of think to myself, wouldn't it be cool in the future if, for example, you get these spatial anchors, what we've spoken about, say you put for example, a QR code in a certain place or something in your room, and your headset always knows that whatever you want there, a vase which never existed, or a picture of a dead relative, whatever it's going to be, a hologram, is always there. Wouldn't it be cool at the point when you don't know you're in a VR headset and you put it on, and then while you're in mixed reality, you pick up a virtual reality headset and put it on to go into VR? That'd be pretty cool. You'd pick up like your virtual Quest 3 for the headset to know that you're about to step into a VR game.
There's a couple of fun VR games that play around with that. You know, like Accounting Plus is one of them.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Put a headset on while you're in there.
There was another game
peeling
that
away
did
layers.
that. Oh,
virtual reality.
Yeah, and also they did that with Stranger Things as well. What are those things you have with kids where you got the little sliders in them, and you have to use light to see the
Oh yeah,
Master.
what are those called?
It's a ViewMaster.
ViewMaster. Yeah, so in Stranger Things you have a ViewMaster, and as you take it on and off, you like clip it, and you still it, and then you take it out, and then you're in the other place. That was pretty cool, and I guess.
Well, they had that in the OG Home too, right? For the Oculus Home, you could like start your games that way. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, that was really cool, dude. That's what I was trying to say. If it was the flip, so you in a virtual home, you picked up a virtual reality headset to basically start the game. But if you was in mixed reality, you'd pick up a virtual reality headset to say you're going into VR. Because hopefully you wouldn't even know you had the headset on. Hopefully it's that comfortable that you don't know. So you're in here and you don't even own the VR. Like, does that make any sense? What I'm saying? Does that?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like
it's
a bit of a dream, you know, like we're like I can't conceptualize what that would look like currently, but yeah, I can follow your train of thought there.
Yeah, it was
one thing I want to do when I move to my apartment is I want to, since I realized, so the Vision Pro, and I think the Quest might do this as well, but there might be some limits with you might have to turn off the Guardian to do this, but the Vision Pro, you can literally go around the house, and even though you're limited to the 1.5 meter immersive space before it like turns into pass through, it will still track you all the way around your house in the VR. For example, I was literally in VR chat in ALVR, and I literally like went all the way across my house, and people saw my avatar walking across my house like a huge space. So one thing I want to do when I move is I want to kind of map out my apartment, my entire apartment, but like reskin it to be something different, but like have the furniture still in the same place. So when I put on the headset and go into this world, I'll be in the same position in VR, but also be taking account the real objects to kind of reskin everything to be more interesting, if that makes sense.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome.
That'd be so much fun.
I love the idea of that. Like my MUVR bedroom is so cool. It's got all 80s, 90s posters, all that stuff. I would love the idea of going into mixed reality and that room being decorated with that stuff. You know, like everything. I'd love a little spaceship from Star Trek just flying around.
Yeah.
Just slowly, you know, like I'm happy with
You guys saw that thing where they have like the app that like makes your entire hallway or house like Matrix, like all the walls and ceilings.
Yeah,
become, like,
dude, that was
things.
insane.
Yeah, if you take that and like start like imagine one day like you start talking to AI, be like, AI, remap my house to be fantasy themed, and instead of your couch, it's like some sort of medieval couch with swords on it and stuff. Like I think that is kind of the more interesting later on sort of view of like how you can just map VR to things that are a bit more interesting with the AR view. And another thing I wanted to kind of ask you all, like based on what you've been seeing with Quest 3 and like Vision Pro, and kind of goes off what Alex was saying earlier about how he took a break from VR. he got back into it and he got a little nauseous. Has anyone heard of people getting nauseous in mixed reality so far?
Can you?
No.
No.
I don't think
No.
you
Not at
can.
all.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Yeah. Yeah. Nice play, man. Yeah, basically, that you literally are getting rid of one of the biggest barriers instantly.
Exactly.
It's a huge barrier, and honestly one that like we don't want to talk about every single conversation we have, but also is a huge problem, probably the biggest problem in VR.
Yeah, and it's one of the things that like we've all done how many demos of new people in VR into, Quest headsets or, any other headset, doesn't matter what it is, but there's always people that get sick. Like some people it doesn't bother, but there's always somebody that gets sick that's like, it just takes it off almost immediately. I haven't had anybody pull the headset off with the Apple Vision Pro yet, just because everything's pretty much mixed reality. I mean, it's not technically VR, but I've put them in VR experiences like the dinosaur one where you are pretty much in a lot of VR, but it is passed through like again behind you, and nobody got sick.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Nice. There was
So here's the other thing.
Go on.
There's no smooth locomotion in any mixed
Yeah.
reality experience.
Yep.
And nobody's ever gotten sick from playing Beat Saber on my watch. So
Yeah.
and there's no smooth loco. So it's really smooth locomotion that is causing that issue.
It is.
So I
It's
don't
the
know
fact
if mixed
your
reality is
your
fixed.
body's telling you you're not moving, and your eyes are saying you are. There's a
Interestingly,
disconnect.
Interestingly, today I played it's a very new game, and it definitely had some problems, called Heartshot VR, which I've been looking forward to. And I've messaged developers about the issues I've had, and they're pushing an update today. I kind of wished they would have held it back a little bit longer, because they still knew they had issues.
Yeah.
But
Sorry. It's the first time I've ever seen you describe an early access game as an investment opportunity in your content.
because I just love it so much. Like it was because I guess, how can I put it? I think watching their developer vlog really opened my eyes to the amount of work that these two guys are putting into this. And there was like, you can see a vision with it. It's not like a cash grab. It's not like Down and Out, for
Right.
example. It's not, there's good mechanics in there. The weapons feel good. And when there's bits where it all just comes together, it felt really good. But what I was going to say was, today, with no snap turning, led me back, because I actually don't like snap turning. I find it really immersion breaking.
Jarring.
Yeah, jarring. Yeah, I don't like it at all. And I don't understand how obviously, because I just don't like it. But so I had to then play the game by moving in my space, and turning. And that was very different for me. I've not really done that too much, because I think because I started on PSVR wired, I was always so facing forward for the camera, or just used to facing, because PSVR was obviously light-based tracking camera, you had to face the camera. So yeah, today I had to really allow myself that freedom of spinning on the spot kind of thing, and I was moving it. I tried my best, but I kept going out of camera shot, dude. I was all over the room. You know what I mean?
Bro, I can relate to that so hard. Like playing so much PlayStation VR and being so trained to face one direction for optimal tracking has completely ruined my chances of like naturally and intuitively doing like 360s with my body in my room to spin around playing a game. I am on those thumbsticks and I am stationary at all times. I think filming content is another thing that kind of trains you to do that, because you're always standing in front of the
That's
camera,
true.
facing the camera.
Maybe you should try
So-
Contractors with movement.
Without thumbsticks. Oh, and that's the point. It's like it's ingrained in me. Like it's so natural and intuitive for me to use thumbsticks to turn that I would never think to spin my actual body. And I've even tried to like make it a point to do that. There's a couple of games like T for God, I think was one of them, that didn't have any kind of turning. So I'm like really moving around, that's awesome. But if the thumbsticks work, I almost
Did T for
always
God
just
not
fall
have any
into them.
you couldn't turn in T for God?
Maybe at some point.
Right.
And I honestly could be wrong about that too. I don't know if I'm remembering.
No,
it
yeah, because
correctly.
I've done T for God a couple of times, and I thought I'd have remembered that. But there's been that game's been around for actually quite a few years, so
Yeah.
it could have been a very different build from.
I mean, it was meant to be played without
Right.
locomotion, without turning. You know what I mean? It was
Right.
meant to be played just
You
turning into a
walking.
small play space. Yeah, like 4x4 play space. You could walk the whole thing and never have to use a thumbstick.
I think that's what it is. Yeah, basically that's where I'm
Mhm.
confused, Alex. I wouldn't
Yeah.
have turned with anything. I would have just used my body. I would have walked, and yeah, that is an amazing experience. I did a video of Tea for God in a 10 meter by 10 meter play space.
hmm
It was fantastic.
Yeah, it's like what's the
It's
other
good.
one there? The what's the temple one? I
Oh
Eye of
yeah,
the
Eye of the
Temple.
Temple. Yeah, that's really clever, man. That could be a fucking game show, couldn't it?
That would be cool.
That would be a
Yeah.
mixed reality game show. I remember watching it. I was like, dude, like this is next level. Especially that bit when you get on the rolling stones and you have to walk
Mhm.
backwards to stay on the stones. It's so clever.
So I want to provide some context. Tea for God and Eye of the Temple, if you haven't tried or heard of either of these games, they're really, really unique in the way that they do procedurally generated spaces, or more. The thing that really combines them is how they utilize your play space. They basically take your play space, however you've measured it, and procedurally generate the puzzles or the rooms based on how much room you have to move around with your physical body. And Tea for God is especially cool with a lot of the tricks that it uses to make you feel like you're walking around in this infinite space when really you're only in like a 10 by 10 or a 15 by 15 space, where you'll like walk up to one wall, turn around a corner, go around another corner, go into an elevator that takes you to a new level. Now you turn around and exit the elevator, and you're walking around your small space infinitely in new locations, and it's procedurally generating that for you the whole time. It is a very unique and extremely cool experience. Don't sleep on Tea for God if you've never tried it. Check it out.
Yeah, yeah, and you can do it in a. I mean, it is ideal to have 2 meters by 2 meters, but I've done it in a smaller space, at least maybe 1.5 by 1.5 before, and the game still gives you plenty of adventure.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
It does work better with the larger play space.
Yeah.
Like both of these games, if you use an extremely small play space, if you have an extremely small play space, you'll be surprised that it does actually work, and you can move around and play a room scale VR game when you don't have really a room. But it pretty much puts you walking in circles constantly when the play
Yeah.
space is
Yeah,
small
it
like
does.
that.
And
And
you
it's
want to make sure
immersion
you
very good.
you map it out, because if you
Right.
have your play space bigger than your actual space, and
Yeah.
it'll walk you right in the fucking wall.
Yeah,
It's going to use
absolutely.
all that space, because that happened to me.
Do you
So,
remember? Do you
But
remember
if you
sorry.
No, I was going to say, but if you have a large room to walk around in, it's actually pretty amazing the extra sense of immersion that you get from
Yeah.
being able to comfortably play room scale VR and not worry about bumping into your wall or the coffee table or something.
Yeah, that's it. That's I asked my gym, and they were like, "Yeah, no one's using that particular studio," and it was a very different feeling. Again, I'm really glad I did it. And the other one we did was Space Pirate Trainer Arena.
Arena, yeah.
Oh wow, that was still scary though, because you can run into each other, kind of thing. But that was amazing. I do wonder whether some of these games and experiences are just a little bit ahead of their time. Just a little bit.
Oh, for sure.
Totally. When I played
know?
Tea for God, I imagined like that mechanic being used in like a true dungeon crawler that was
Yeah.
multiplayer online. So like, let's say like you have a friend and you both have a 10 by 10 spot. You can both map a 10 by 10, go into a dungeon together, and have a procedurally generated dungeon that you're both actually using your feet to navigate next to each other to like
Yeah.
go and go on a quest or go kill stuff together. And that procedurally generated content is one of the things that really, really excites me about the immersive content space moving forward, especially when, and this is like a kind of a Black Mirror thing, but especially when the biometric data starts feeding into what's being generated. Because if your biometrics can indicate how you feel about an experience, and they can change an experience to make sure that they are scaring you or make sure you're having fun or whatever it is, then the kinds of stuff that we're going to be able to do in headsets is going to be insane and catered specifically to the kind of experience that would give you precisely what it is you're looking for.
Yeah.
So the future of all this stuff is really, really exciting to me.
Yeah. I hope just more like arcades happen. I remember playing the original Arizona Vertigo's room scale experience, and they gave you like NES controllers. The old Nez Zappa guns, we had them, and which was quite surreal. And yeah, there was like, it was my first ever time in 2018, and I went in there with this other guy, and obviously you go in together, standing beside each other. But in the game, he was like on an elevator somewhere else, even though we had headphones on, so the audio made sense. He would be like somewhere else in an elevator, and I'd be on another floor, and then we sort of come together, and all the while you're all just in the same area, but the game makes you think you're in other places. It was really, really smart. Really clever. So yeah, that's the only time I've ever experienced co-op like that, Alex. But I'm assuming all arcade experiences are a bit like that.
Yeah, I've only done a couple of them. I've done Sandbox VR a couple of times, and I've done the Void once. And the Void was really, really badass. That's like a warehouse size experience as opposed to like a room size experience. But yeah, there's a lot of that. And it is weird when you like see an avatar in one spot, but you hear the voice in the real room coming from somewhere else. Like that stuff is a little bit trippy sometimes. But yeah, you know, room scale cooperative stuff, man. I see a future in a lot of that.
Yeah. I want a brand new Star Trek Bridge Crew. Just thinking out loud. I'd love to play that. I'd love to play that game again. There's still not many games that capture that team effort like that game.
I think the sequel needs to let you go into the planet, beam over to other places. I think that'd be cool.
Very
The
cool.
Bridge Crew is amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Ah, J Devil. Wow, just realised Rezel gave me a membership. Thank you. Yeah, he chucked out 20 earlier, which is really nice of him. Thank you to everyone for watching today. I think Mickey Bear's been dropping more and more codes. Thank you, dude. Is that his profile picture? Is that him?
I can't see his profile picture.
And it on YouTube. I've not seen that before. Is that a new picture? I think it might be.
There was also a $2 with an A next to it. Does that mean Australian? $2 with an A next to it. Super chat from Fifth earlier.
Thank you.
And they asked, do you turn music off in VR to be more immersive? I'm guessing that happened like during our voice chat conversation.
Does he mean like if, for example, if you play another game, you could have Spotify on at the same time? Or
I think what he means is like in-game music, like, you know, like battle music turning on. But I'm not sure. If you're still here and you want to clarify, feel free.
Yeah,
I think you're right, Alex. I think he's asking, do any of us go into the in-game audio settings and turn specifically the music off in order to try to become more immersed?
Yeah, he says that's he says the music, he or she says that the immersion is broken for them when they hear like a song playing when they're supposed to be like in a haunted house. You know,
so
like
sounds more like the other version of the question than that you were posing, right? Like maybe music that's not supposed to be in there. You would think the music of the game would make you feel more immersed, right? Not pull you out.
Well, that's what the music is intended to do, is to like make you feel something, maybe create some tension, maybe make something feel a little lighter or whatever. But the music coming in, telling you how to feel about the situation could be an immersion breaker, because you don't need music to feel this experience, do you? I mean, you're there, you're experiencing it with the headset on, at least, you know? So I see the point you're trying to make there, Fifth. And I appreciate that. I wouldn't turn the music off myself, because sometimes you do need a little bit of a push in an emotional direction to really vibe on something that's happening. But I appreciate that perspective.
I turn it down sometimes. That's about it.
Yeah, I'll turn it down to hear my teammates. Sometimes I feel like you can go too far, you know, not maybe in the specific instance, but you know, people do all these things to be more immersed, like, and they say all these things drag them out, but then there's other things that they have no qualms about. It's very bizarre.
We've got another donation. I think that's from New Zealand. $2 New Zealand dollars. Thank you ever so much, Kerman. Have any of you checked out the virtual desktop beta? I'm assuming VD beta. Is that right? Is that what he's referring to?
Yep. Is there another VD?
I don't
and
know.
Not the kind that you're
there's lots of different kinds of VD. You know who has VD?
My mom. I hope she doesn't, because if she does, She's-
Everybody has it.
yeah, everybody.
It's a pandemic
Oh,
of VD spread around the
no.
world.
No one's wearing
by my
protection. No.
That is
Oh.
pretty good.
Is this your first time? She's like, yep. She lied to everyone. Oh, that's no good. Yeah, are we gonna? Does anyone know what that means from Kerman? Bless. Yeah,
So it says
virtual desktop. Yeah, what's this about? Does anyone know? There's a beta then or something? I don't know. Is he on about Apple Vision Pro?
Probably.
No, it's not. It's still Quest. They had a bunch of features such as like the upper body tracking that Meta has been providing as an API. It now works in virtual desktop, so you can like track your elbows and your wrists and your hands and fingers and stuff as an option for some things.
Are these all the
They-
YouTube videos saying full body tracking?
It's probably something like that.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
Even though it's top body. It's upper body, not lower body.
Well, that makes the
Oh.
point. I've been hearing people say, "Oh, there's no reason to get virtual desktop, and Steam, link and all this." But like, there's like virtual desktop. That's all it does is let you connect. Like, Guy is a fucking genius, and like, it's the only thing that I know of that will actually give me foveated rendering in my Quest Pro, and like, there's so many options. I think it absolutely is worth picking up.
Yeah. Genbread coming in. New Contractors is the most exciting thing in VR since UEVR. Contractors Showdown has got the potential to be one of the best games of this year, I think, personally. But
It's good.
I'm hearing that
I
a
haven't
lot.
actually done the new update, but I did it. I played about 3 weeks ago, maybe a little bit longer, and it was still good then. It was like you could see where they were going, and a lot of the animations weren't complete yet, and a lot of things were just placeholders at the time. But it was the core gameplay is there. I think you're getting to the closest thing to like a BR
Warzone.
Warzone BR, battle royale Warzone type of BR that we've wanted. Like, you guys remember Standout? Was the
Yeah,
VR game.
of course.
They had something, and this was like 6 years ago. To me, I think it was the first decent battle royale in VR to play, and they were as close, I think, at the time as you're going to get. But I think Contractors could really do it, like really be almost like Warzone.
Have
But
you
Standout
played-
was fun, man.
Standout was definitely fun. I remember that it had hands that didn't move. You
Yeah.
had gloves like that all the time. But
Yep.
yeah, there was those moments I had in Standout where, those engagements where you're like hiding and you're about to die, and then you kill someone and you take their loot, and you jumped out of a plane, I believe, just like what we're talking about. Brad, did you get in there in the end? Did you get to play Contractors?
Unfortunately, no. I got access during the weekend, and my weekends are very busy right now.
It is
So
only
unfortunately
open-
not. I will definitely try it.
It is only open at weekends
Oh.
though.
Okay. God dang it. Okay. When does it come out? Actually.
But Friday is one of
Oh,
those
Friday's one of them. Friday and Mondays actually.
Okay.
So Friday, Friday.
Oh, we can get them
Oh.
right now. Let's cancel the show. Let's end the show right now. We
Are
all
the
get in.
servers
Bye,
live
everybody.
right now?
As far they sometimes are, yeah. I don't know. We
There's
can check.
there's an open beta going on until the 17th, and all you have to do is go to the Steam page or the Quest page and request to be added to the beta, and they'll add you on.
As far as
Is
I
that
They are
open?
down during the week.
As far as I
The
know,
servers
the
are
Even
down.
for the
yeah.
open beta, they're down. That's weird.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
I figured you'd have tons of people in there right now. You'd be able to keep the
Because there was basically even though people were still applying, they were like, "I've applied. Why haven't I got access?" Like people getting really angry, but they were saying it was they only wanted a certain amount of players. They were trying to monitor everything, getting all this data, and if they'd have just let anyone in there during the alpha, it would have just, I guess, messed things up or broke the game.
How crazy is it trying to use this beta or alpha to gather data to make the game run
How
smoothly?
dare
Right?
they.
How dare you? Yeah.
cramping our
How
style.
dare you?
Screw it. I'll go play Helldivers then.
Yeah. Well, that's an amazing game.
Yeah,
J
that,
Devil in
yeah.
the chat is confirming Sunday at midnight is when I'm and
Oh,
whatever time zone that is, But yeah, Sunday night they close. So Monday through Thursday, no access.
Yeah.
I remember like back in the old 360 days, you had to buy Crackdown to get access to the Halo 3 beta. And they did like the same thing.
Yeah,
where
I remember Crackdown. That was a
Wow.
good game, actually.
Crackdown was
fun.
amazing.
It was fun.
Oh, Brad, sorry. Please continue your amazing story.
It's like,
Sorry.
no, it's just like it was the same thing. It was up every weekend, I think. You got to play a glimpse of Halo 3, and every week they would change new things and like have. And that was kind of magical back then. But yeah,
dude.
it's
I
Yeah.
played so much Halo 3.
We probably bumped into
Me
each other
too.
at some point. You know what I mean? Maybe.
Yeah,
I
I probably ran my sword through you a few times back in 2007 or whenever that was.
yeah, I remember that it did happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Halo 3 was Halo 2 was the first online though, wasn't it? I believe properly.
Properly. Yeah, but Halo 1 had
Yeah.
LAN and I was
Yeah.
in there, dude. Like my buddy, I had a friend who had like the rich parent, you know, and they had an Xbox downstairs and an Xbox upstairs. And we had 4-on-4 battles
yeah.
all the time. Like you meet in the staircase, talk a bunch of shit, everybody goes back, and dude, it was a riot, man. I really miss those
Everyone
times.
pulling out the OP pistol. Do you remember the OP pistol?
Oh my god. What was that
Fucking
level?
hell.
Lockdown, I think it was called. There's like this gray level that had like you could hit people from the pistol from all the way
Yeah.
across the map in that thing.
Wasn't there like a little part somewhere on the head where you could get a one-shot kill with that pistol? I'm sure someone said that. And yeah, that game was so good, dude. It was so good.
Halo 3 and VR win.
That would
I'm
be
ready
my
for it.
first experience for Halo. That'd be
Wow,
cool.
really?
Oh,
Have
wow.
any
Yeah, I
Halo?
never played
That was
Halo.
awesome.
What?
Oh, yeah,
What
that's
did you
great.
say?
Never
He's
played
never
it.
played it.
Never played it. Actually, I've had the chance to pick up Halo Master Chief something recently.
Well, you've
and I
never
decided,
played any
fuck it.
Halo games.
No, I've never touched it. I didn't have an Xbox. I had an Xbox at one point
Wow.
when I was running video stores. I traveled a lot and I wanted to have something to play games and watch movies. And so I used to travel with it, but it was like mostly platformers.
Mate, Halo 2 really, as far as I can remember, was the first dual wielding game that I
Mhm.
played. And it was an odd way of
Yeah.
doing it. Didn't you hold like a shoulder button to then grab the other weapon and then hold it again to drop the extra weapon?
Yeah.
Something like
That
that.
that doesn't ring a bell to me. I remember
You
it
probably
being
could have
pretty
changed it,
intuitive.
but I seem to remember that was how it worked. But
It was a UK thing.
oh,
I did play GoldenEye though. That was amazing.
Oh, GoldenEye was
But
great.
everybody played that.
That was
right?
Even just the
redeeming.
base game of GoldenEye was great though. Like everybody like waxes poetic about the multiplayer, which was awesome, but just even the game itself, the campaign,
missions
was so good.
were
Yeah,
awesome.
it was
Those
so
I
good.
love
scenes
that.
are straight out of the movie. Like it's
Oh, so good.
really, really good how faithful they were to the GoldenEye movie in that game.
that game's
Remember the faces, like the flat, everybody's flat face. It
I
was
still
so
have
funny.
games like that today in VR that look like that. I played it.
Yeah.
I got sent a game today called The Last Taxi or something in VR. It's like
Oh,
a
me
quest
too.
game.
Yeah.
I jumped in there and the people get in the car and they're AI scripted. They're like, "Hello, I am." They skip his name, talk a lot of shit, and then you drive along. And I looked at his face and I was like, "Mate, this is like being back in N64. It's so bad."
If I hear that music today from GoldenEye, I'm like, oh, so good. It's that.
It was good.
The menu music was the best. When you
Yeah,
click
and
the
the
watch.
multiplayer was
Don't
just
come over
phenomenal.
to my house and pick Odd Job, dude. I will kick you out.
We should do that in MUVR. We should all get an MUVR and we could do a 4-player split screen around
That'd
in
be
my
cool.
room.
That would be cool.
You know, I have to say this. Halo, right? In my opinion, that's a game that you can go and do that with. Like it stands the test of time. It is still good to this day. GoldenEye, I can't say that, man. Like it really does not, in my opinion, stand the test of time. The controls
Remaster.
are bad. The graphics are bad. Like at the time, nothing touched it. It was incredible. Like I will cherish those memories forever, but I have almost no interest in playing GoldenEye again. Like I don't think it's very good.
It's
It's like all Atari
um,
games.
Oh yeah,
I wish I could
It's
be
like-
Alex. There you
I'm
Yeah, right.
sorry, man. I'm sorry.
it's like Tomb Raider now. I'm getting very nostalgic over Team Beef's
Dude.
Beef Raider. that's
Beef
coming out.
Raider.
Beef Raider.
Like
That's
Tomb
an
Raider for
American
me-
thing, Beef Raider, by the way. Every time I write it, they go, Beef
What are you
Raider.
talking
I was like, what's Beef Raider? What is the problem?
about?
Yeah.
It's removed, but there's something there. I
Not
can't
for
tell you
me.
exactly.
Not for me, there wasn't. I was just like, beef raiding.
Yeah, if that doesn't just insinuate something to you, we really are from
Yeah.
different cultures.
Well,
you
yeah.
know? I don't know what it insinuates. I can just tell there's like something provocative about that expression.
For you.
Yes.
And why?
For me.
Why? Would tell me. What do you get like a tingling when
No,
you say
when-
beef
Who
raider?
doesn't get a tingling?
You know who
for that?
What's
else is
funny
a
about
beef
that?
raider?
She's the
Oh,
ultimate
Definitely
beef
a
raider.
raider.
she's the ultimate beef raider.
Ultimate beef raider.
Mental. So yeah, Tomb Raider in first person in VR.
So I think that was one of the first games I think I ever bought on the original Sony
Dude.
PlayStation. I think it was either
Yeah.
that or Resident Evil. the
Crash
original Resident Evil.
Bandicoot, baby.
Yeah,
it
it
definitely was for me. Like,
Yeah.
Tomb Raider was one of the very first games I owned.
Do you guys remember the first time you swam in that game when you went
Oh, yeah.
swimming? That's mind blowing. I don't know why. It was just so cool.
I think am I right with this? I'm just trying to remember back, but I think this is the original like 3D effect, right? Where you can turn the thumbstick and look 360 in your environment. Was Tomb Raider the first you could do that?
Super Mario 64, I think. On home console anyway. That
Was
was
that before
revolutionary.
PlayStation?
This would be very hard to go into because I can remember games like Croc and other games that you could go into first person. You couldn't move the character, but you could look around the environment. I don't know, but Tomb Raider would, if you think of the graphic styling of it, that probably is one of the older first. I would say PlayStation probably did it best, but yeah, Mario 64 was around PlayStation time. So yeah,
I had never seen anything like Mario 64 when that happened. Like
Same,
that blew my mind.
The
I've never seen
freedom
3D.
of that
Yeah.
game too. That's amazing.
I
There's
couldn't
nothing
believe
like
it. I couldn't believe seeing the way he was running around in the world. That was
Dude,
just unreal.
there are not a lot of things that I can like remember how I felt. And that playing Super Mario 64 for the first time is a memory I'll never forget. Like it's such a unique feeling. I can still feel it to this day when I think about it. It
Does it-
literally blew my mind.
That's what keeps you young, Alex. Yeah.
It is. It was my Super
That's where
Mario
the
64
tingling come
experience. Yes, that's where the
Right.
beef rating started.
That's right.
Yeah, I did actually. I voicemailed Team B. Funny enough, I've got a habit of that lately. I don't like writing messages. I like to send voicemails.
I noticed that.
Yeah, I love it. Because we spend all fucking day typing. I don't want to keep typing. So I said to Team Beef, I was like, "Will I be able to look down and see triangle boobs?" And and will they have triangle boob physics? And they said no, probably not.
No triangle boobs.
That's got to come at some point, right? Like it's hilarious, but that is one of the iconic things about Tomb Raider was like having this 3-dimensional female avatar that was shapely, like you never really
she had a
saw
butt.
that.
She had a butt.
Yeah.
Oh,
Never
yeah.
saw that before, so it's like, whoa, look at that. Especially to like the 12-year-old boy's brain,
I
It's
remember
made an impact.
do you remember when you like held R1 and she did the stand up thing, like the like, is it like a forward flip or a handstand, and then she do that crazy forward
yeah.
cartwheel thing? I remember like learning about that, and then like weeks later I was with my friend. He went, "Have you seen this?" And he did it. I went, "Mate, everyone's seen that. That ain't special anymore."
Just the controls in that game. I mean, that was the first one I remember where you had like the controls where you could jump and then like catch ledges and climb. And then remember the mansion, like the Lara Croft mansion, and you had this huge, like down in the basement, you had this huge like obstacle course
Yeah,
that you could just continue to run over and over and over just to try and get the times. But where that would be completely boring today, but back then it was just like learning new controls that you've never done before.
that was like Tomb Raider 2 or 3, I think, because you could.
Oh,
in
was it?
that
It might have
one-
been. Yeah.
In that one, you could like, could you flip in midair? You could make her do like a roll in midair.
Roll. Yeah. Maybe that way. Yeah, I think you're right. That was Tomb Raider 2.
Because the
I think
butler
she
was
did
walking
something like that.
around. Was the
Yeah,
butler?
the
walking-
butler. Yeah.
Because you can on PSVR and I think PC, you can go in the mansion in VR. In one of the Tomb Raiders, there's a VR part segment, isn't there, Alec? Wes, do you remember which Tomb Raider it was on PSVR?
I have no idea.
Ninja Guy says 3.
On PSVR.
Oh no, he said the mansion is in 3.
There was a Tomb Raider
Mm.
VR Tomb Raider experience, and it's
There
Yeah,
was
yeah,
on
it
PC,
was.
right?
It was Rise of the Tomb Raider or something
oh,
like that.
okay, yeah, Rise of the Tomb
And there
Raider.
was it wasn't the main game, but there was like an extra mode that you could go and experience in VR, but it wasn't like a Tomb Raider game. It was more of an experience tech demo type thing.
Yeah. Either way, I think I am very excited to check out Beef Raider.
Same. I didn't have the PlayStation. And so, my Tomb Raider was like a couple of minutes at my friend's house when he would hand me the controller for a few minutes, so
Was he a good
Um,
friend? He doesn't sound like a good friend.
Nah,
No.
definitely not. Definitely not. You know, so
Do you want me to? Do you want me to?
I'm
Do you want me to go
excited.
and have a word? Do you want me to go and see him
You
now?
know, it's been some time, and I think I've let it go. But I do
Fair
appreciate
enough.
that.
Yeah, I will do, man. I always used
There
to
will be a day when I need to call on you, and
do it.
I hope you're ready.
That's my favorite thing is beating up other people's bullies because then it doesn't matter to me. Do you know what I mean? It was just you're helping someone else out. But
That's great.
it was, yeah. I hate the idea of that. But another thing I was going to say about Tomb Raider that was really cool is the CD quality music. That was something that couldn't be beaten even on N64. When the music kicked in on PlayStation games like Tomb Raider, it really was just such a crisp sound. It was great. That
Well,
really
it was a revolutionary time for gaming, not just because of the sound, but being able to you know, have full on realistic video cutscenes. Like
yeah.
before that, everything was cartoony and blocky. Now it's like overnight you're watching a movie in a game. It really was incredible and it's shocking to me that Nintendo stuck with cartridge technology after that, advancement was made and everyone else was going to disc. But no, it was a crazy time.
Yeah, it was the PlayStation 1 being the first home console that CD-ROM, I guess is what it was called at that point, ever used.
Right.
And Nintendo did go to discs with the GameCube and the Wii. And Wii U too, but after the Wii U with the Switch came out, they went
Much
back to
later,
tiny
yeah.
carts.
Yeah, it was much
The
later.
GameCube
Yeah.
is so cool. GD
Yeah, it was
discs,
a good
wasn't
one.
it? GD, I
Yep.
think it was called, yeah. Oh no, what was that? That was Dreamcast was GD, I think.
The GameCube had so many accessories. Do you remember all the things that you could put on the GameCube? You could like plug in like a little mini screen that popped up. You had all the Wavebird stuff where you could do the
Yeah.
first wireless,
I love the Wavebird.
controllers. Yeah, I mean there was so many things. There was a thing that you could plug into your GameCube that allowed you to put in your Game Boy cartridges and play Game Boy games on a little pop-up screen on your GameCube.
That's wild, man. Have you still
Yeah.
got all that stuff, Eric, or not?
I don't, man. I wish I did. I had it all. I'm sure I had it all at one time. I love the
My
GameCube. Like,
son,
I
my
don't have
son
anything now.
collects this stuff. He has all of these like old retro consoles and just old technology in general. It's what he's into. It's his like main hobby.
That's
I love that.
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, good call outs here in chat, by the way. Funky Sloth being like, yo, Alex, you forgot Sega CD. Absolutely did. And
Yeah.
Mim fan saying, yo, you forgot about TurboGrafx CD. Also
Yeah.
not considering that. So good call outs there, boys.
Yeah,
And it-
Dreamcast was a third generation CD-ROM for Sega.
I love
because
Dreamcast.
they had
That was one
Sega
of my
CD and then it went to Sega Saturn,
Yeah.
which
Mhm.
was the first one that really caught on. Like not that many people bought Sega CD, but
Yeah. So over here it was called the Mega CD, I think, for some reason. Yeah, Mega CD. Yeah, 30. Yeah, it was Mega Drive 32X, Sega CD, Mega CD, then Sega Saturn, then Sega Dreamcast. Do you remember Bass Fishing? I've got that downstairs.
Yes.
yeah.
I got
Yeah,
the
you
rod.
have the controller, the one that vibrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know
I
who
got
else
it.
has a
I got
controller
it.
that vibrates?
Oh yeah, she's got the best one.
Literally, that was like I remember that Sega Bass Fishing. It was like one of the first controllers that really had like a rumble effect in it. Like
Yeah.
it gave you the feeling of really fishing. It was cool, man.
Small one.
You
Shout
still
out to
have it?
Les. Shout out to Les Marwig, who says, "Welcome to the Virtual Reality Podcast." Yeah,
Right.
thanks.
Sorry.
Thanks for joining us.
So sorry. It's yeah,
You can
it's
do both.
It's relevant. We were talking about
okay.
Tomb Raider.
It
That's how
all
we got
comes
here.
back around.
that's right, Alex. That is absolutely correct. GT, do you have Sam the Amigo? I do. I love it. It's on Quest. It's really cool because it's got Sonic Adventure 2, Escape from the City level and music in Sam the Amigo in VR. And I absolutely love that song. So yes, I've played Sam the Amigo quite a lot.
Have you guys tried the Crash Bandicoot 4 in the UE VR mod?
No.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. Works perfect. Looks amazing. Gameplay's amazing. I guess it's a pretty new game too. Within the last year or two.
Is it
Yeah.
the best Crash Bandicoot though? Because for some reason I'm very just fond of the first and second one, and then
I don't know. I mean, I didn't
yeah.
play the originals too much, but I've really enjoyed it. Like it's done really well, and I think you'd love it if you like platformers.
I need to answer Stevie Wonder. He's trying to let us know desperately that he had an Amiga CD 32. Oh, I had an Amiga 1200 and I absolutely loved it for years. My friend had an Amiga CD 32 and I think that was quite a major flop, the CD 32. But still, it still had some really cool stuff on it, some really cool games.
Yeah, way ahead of its time, that one. Like that was when I was really young when that came out.
Let you know, Stevie, we can see you, man. Apologies.
Mhm.
You know, sometimes it's just it's hard to pick out certain comments. That's all. But yeah, I mean, there was something else that come up on your podcast actually between realities. We was talking about. You said to me, "Is there any retro stuff I would like to do in VR?" And I answered and said basically everything I've ever wanted to do so far, I've been able to do. And watching, and I kind of forgot we had that conversation until I saw your short of our conversation, and I was like, "That's pretty wild." Like that I've done all that. It's cool. It's cool.
It
to
is
know that.
cool.
Yeah.
It is cool.
Yeah, it's
you know,
amazing. I'm sorry, Alex.
Nope, after you.
It's just kind of part of a bigger feeling that I've always had toward virtual reality, and that is, this is something that we used to fantasize about as video game lovers growing up. When Lawnmower Man came out and people started thinking about the possibilities of virtual reality, I think we all knew it would happen, but I think most of us really didn't expect it to be good in our lifetime. Like this is something that I thought would be for my children. I didn't think that we would get here so quickly, and the fact that we have, uh, first of all, just blows my mind. And then when you think about on top of it, GT, the kind of things that you're talking about, it's being done through emulation. This is precisely what we used to fantasize about growing up, was being in these games. So it's pretty incredible that in this very, very short amount of time that we've actually, gotten to the point that we're at. It never ceases to amaze me when I think about it.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd make it. No way. From where I started on the Atari 2600, I never thought that.
You're looking good, Eric. You don't look
right?
you don't look like you've struggled. You know, you don't look like you've waited too
Like I'm an
long.
old man.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm getting younger.
Well,
I
you
really
do.
do. I really do feel like I'm getting younger. For me, like I don't know how it was for you guys, but I had a period in my life. I've been a gamer all my life, like since I was a little kid. But I did have a period in my life right after I had my daughter. I quit smoking, and VR and not VR, gaming and smoking was a huge part of like it put the two together. Like if I was playing a video game, I would smoke a cigarette. And I quit smoking for health reasons, and I couldn't. I lost my passion for playing video games. So I absolutely stopped playing video games for many years after my daughter was born. And VR brought me back into gaming. Like I don't think I would be doing what I'm doing. I know I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now, but I probably wouldn't be gaming at all if it wasn't for virtual reality getting me back into gaming. And even like nowadays, I do play some flat games I enjoy because of virtual reality. So to me, I think the jump of technology into virtual reality has brought back a passion for me in gaming in general. Like I don't think I would be into gaming now if it wasn't for VR. So whether you think, VR is where it needs to be or not yet, I think it's definitely a gateway for a lot of people, especially people my age.
Yeah, we share the same story, really. Yeah, that's pretty much what happened to me. I was still playing games, like I was still pretty hardcore, even 2 years before I found VR. But there was a point where in those 2 years, something in me kind of died a little bit. I wasn't really excited anymore. I was doing it because I was like, what else is there to do? But then VR just made everything amazing again. That's pretty much what happened.
I've really been taken aback as I've gotten older. When I like see how accessible all these kinds of experiences start to become, because when I was growing up and I'm like eyeballing a game, like Super Mario 64 is a great example. I can't imagine ever being able to literally put my head inside the TV and like see what Peach's castle looks like from the inside. And here in the future, it is like actually relatively simple to execute that. Like the data's out there, like people have harvested all the data from all these old cartridges and made digital versions of them. And like, people are using real assets from some of these things to recreate these ports, like it's literally insane. And it's done with relative ease compared to like what I I imagine would technically be impossible when I was growing up. So, setting my Steam home environment to Peach's Castle, not even having Mario 64 as a game, just being in Peach's Castle was something that was completely mind blowing for me. And I couldn't believe how relatively simple it actually seems to be to do some of that. So
Do you
it's
use
been a
Steam,
surprise.
Alex, quite often?
No, not often.
You should go into Steam and you can get Peach's Castle and you can get Kokiro Village from Zelda 64 as environments and walk around them. That is
Yeah, that the castle is
fucking-
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's
I've done that,
amazing.
but I haven't done Kokiri Forest, which I think is probably on my list
Is
now.
it Kokiri Village? What's the one? What's the
Oh,
one? you go-
Kakariko Village.
Sorry, yeah. What's the one near Death Mountain? Just before you go up to Death Mountain.
That's Kakariko Village.
Yeah, so in there as well, you can teleport up to the highest point like a wooden. And I've actually been in there, man, and just sat in there for a little while, listening to the music and the
Oh, I love that.
and the chickens and the fan and the big windmill going round. I'm like, I love all that stuff, mate. I love going into retro games. But yeah, it sounds like a lot of the guys in the chat seem to be into the old retro stuff as well, which is really cool. Paradise
we
talking
all
about
share-
bingo.
The original game.
Sorry, Wes.
No, I was just saying, I feel like a lot of us, not just content creators, but VR enthusiasts in general, share the same origin story that, we were all kind of gamers growing up. Some of us fell away during that era where there wasn't much innovation in gaming and became primarily retro gamers for a little while. And then VR kind of changed the paradigm, right? That's kind of the Cliff's Notes version for most of us, I think.
Not Brad.
Yeah, Brad.
Not Brad.
What? Who? What? Where?
Just saying hi.
Just saying.
Hi. Yeah, gaming sucks. No, I'm just kidding.
Nice.
What do you guys
Yeah.
think about AI? And like it's making so many strides in different fields, innovations. They're clearly using it to get around problems, figure things out. What do you guys think we're going to see that lead to in the future? Like because things are moving so fast. Like some of these problems that we thought were impossible are probably going to be solved in the next year or two. And I think it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna get crazy cool.
Yeah, I don't know what
It's gonna
Yeah.
it's going to impact everything, and gaming is part of that. I think AI is going to revolutionize everything the way that the internet revolutionized everything, and it's going to change on a very fundamental level, not only how games are made, but also how they operate. I think it's going to be pretty incredible.
I'm waiting for
to say the
AI.
least.
I'm waiting for AI to make its own gaming company with its own VR headset and
Coming.
then sell it.
Coming.
You know?
Can you
Hey,
imagine conversations with AI NPCs that they remember the conversation and expand upon
Right.
next time you go into like the interactions with NPCs are going to be crazy. Like those videos of people going into GTA 5 and talking to people and asking them questions. That's going to be the norm, right? And I just think that that's cool. Like the content just in and of that itself, outside of the game, it's going to make things crazy.
Yeah. What's the new Blade Runner is he has an AI companion, doesn't he? Like a girl that he ends up getting some sort of extra chip that makes her real for a night, isn't it? Brad or something like that. Do you remember that?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, and because she's stuck in the room, isn't she? First of all, she can't leave the room. Her projector, and then she has like a mobile projector, and then she's an AI that can go anywhere. And then suddenly she's in the car, and that's a good film actually. I really enjoyed that film. That was pretty cool. Have you
Ex
seen it?
Machina.
I
is a
haven't seen
really
Ex
good AI
Machina.
movie.
Is it good?
I loved it. I thought it was
Really?
awesome.
Let me look it up. I heard it. Someone else mentioned that today.
Yeah,
Ex
what's this?
Machina.
How can I say that? It's there's an AI that the creators believe to be sentient, and they pull in somebody to like have an interview series with it to basically determine whether or not it is.
I've definitely seen the artwork for this.
It's a great AI movie. Brad, I feel like you were gonna make a contribution to this AI conversation.
Yeah, I was just kind of thinking like I do think there will be some destructive mechanisms with AI, but I also think as time goes on and like we kind of get past this phase, even before AI, become people like a story behind how something is made, and like people who appreciate someone's talent or art connected to the project. I think people will notice and still prefer things made by humans, especially more notable humans that people like. And I'm not sure if like fully AI generated things is going to like sell well as people think as we get more in the long term. Like, yeah, AI will be a great tool, but there still needs to be a human element of things for people to want to invest, if that makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's a good perspective and a probable outcome.
Nice. So I think that's a wrap for this week. Thank you ever so much for everyone joining us today. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who donated, everyone who liked and subscribed. Thank you ever so much. Thank you to my guests this week for joining me again. Thank you to Bradley for turning up in his ghostly manner as he does now. Have you how many podcasts have you now done like this in this form?
3 or 4. Not not obscene amount, but yeah, 3 or 4. I like to do it because again, I'm actually sitting outside right now this whole time. Just kinda
Really?
chilling on the
No
patio.
way.
Dang,
Yeah.
that's pretty sweet, man.
Yeah, so it's like, it's nice, kind of nice out today. There's some interesting. Again, I'm trying to push things. Like I'm trying to make people imagine where
Isn't
this
that
technology takes.
crazy though that you've just said it? That this whole show you've been outside.
Naked.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Hey, maybe that's the thing. You don't know.
I like to imagine that he is. Like it's just like I go to that as the default.
We don't need that.
You know who else likes to imagine that?
My
One
mom.
all day.
Oh, yeah.
She does.
There you
She
go.
He does.
Right, say goodbye, everyone. Thank you ever so much. See you
Goodbye,
next
everyone.
week.
Thank you.
Thank
Goodbye,
you.
everyone.
Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye now. Goodbye.